Yo, what is going on, guys? Achilles here, and I got another gameplay commentary for you guys today. And today's theme of the video is pretty much just gonna be like kind of the clutch situation. So the two gameplays I have for you today is the gameplay you're gonna be watching now is actually a Leopard 1 gameplay that I got yesterday. Which, if you haven't heard my spiel on the Leopard, I'm sure I will be telling you throughout the gameplay. But the first gameplay I have for you is the Leopard, and then the second gameplay I have for you is just extremely good 50B gameplay. Like, it's not spectacular, but it's a pretty damn good gameplay. As I kind of threw out the spoiler there, the clutch situation. But as you can see here, quite some confusion here, trying to figure out who has the Connect mic. You know, it is always quite the struggle trying to figure out who has the Connect mic and who needs to get muted. Literally, the only time I will ever mute anybody in this game is if they have a Connect mic or they're like listening to music or something. But this is one of those just playing musical chairs here, trying to figure out who's got the Connect mic, and it ended up being the E100 and the Tiger 2, I believe. So, yeah. But here we are on Fisherman's Bay Encounter, and I am playing the Leopard 1. Now, me and the Leopard 1 do not particularly have the best relationship. You know, I've always seen the Leopard as one of those tanks that's just it's a tank that you really have to play super selfishly. It's not something that's really team oriented that can really help anything. Pretty much your only two assets when you are using the Leopard 1 is your speed and your gun. You know, that you really don't have much else or much more than that. And you know, the Leopard's gun, you know, sometimes it wants to work and sometimes it just doesn't want to work. You know, another issue I have with the Leopard, and you're gonna see here right off the rip, I thought that maybe I could get over here without, you know, getting spotted or, you know, having any issues. But, you know, I kind of throw away my HP pool, as you're going to see here right at the beginning of the game. Just because I get stuck on this building here, and then I just completely think that, you know, nothing can hit me. But, you know, both RDs are firing me, and I get double tapped and lose like 1,000 health balance, right? But, you know, the Leopard, I've never really had like a super... I've never been very fond of it. You know, as I mentioned before, I don't really think it's a very team-oriented tank. You know, you can't really help anybody except for at a distance. You know, this is one of those tanks that I always like to claim is just one of those tanks that all the chai sniping stat patters like to use. And for those of you who don't know when I say chai sniping, it's just basically pretty much a funny term that we use on PC for people that just like to stat pad and sit in the back of the map and not actually help the win. Because pretty much that's what the Leopard's good at. I mean, you can't really do anything, like you can't really brawl with anybody because pretty much like 99% of the things that are at tier 10, even the light tanks, can penetrate you. So, you know, you really don't have the armor to fall back on. You know, you don't have a turret. You can't, well, you have a turret, but it doesn't have any. It's not reliable at all. You know, you can't bounce anything. It's not a good hold down worker. You know, pretty much all you've got is your speed, your gun, and your good gun depression. And you know, sometimes that's just not enough, especially on city maps for sure. Like, city maps are huge. You know, like Himmelsdorf, Ensk. Like, playing a Leopard on that map, or on any of those maps, is just really rough. And you're going to see quite a few shots throughout this game where I just kind of, you know, just get extremely irritated at the gun. You know, just because my theory with the Leopard is that, you know, since it only has like two things going for it, when one of them doesn't work, the tank is useless. Like, this tank is literally only supposed to have, or its only purpose is to have a gun that's really accurate. It can snipe from a distance, and when that doesn't work, it's useless. There's no point in even having the tank. Now granted, it does have a 410 meter view range, which is nice, and it is extremely fast, so it can flex around the map really well. But the Leopard is the last tank I would want to be in to clutch a like a 1v4 or something like that, just because you have to be 100% sure that no one's going to shoot you, especially if you're in a situation like I am now. I play the rest of this game on 16 HP. So yeah. But, you know, the Leopard, it's not one of those tanks that just the German mediums in general. Like, I really just don't like them. The E50M, everybody always claims that it's, like it's their favorite tier 10, blah blah blah, and you can ram people and all that stuff. But it's just the E50M is kind of the same deal. You've got a tank that it can play. It's I would say the E50M is a lot more team oriented than the Leopard is, just because you have a much better chance of bouncing shots with the E50M. I would hope so, because the Leopard has absolutely no armor. But the E50M, it's got the same gun, pretty much the same gun. You've got a longer aim time, but they got the .3 accuracy, but with the 270 pen, a little bit extra on the APCR rounds. But the E50M, it's just one of those tanks that doesn't really perform well in a brawling situation. Say you're brawling with like a heavy tank, like a 215B or something like that. You're not really gonna. You're not favored to win. Let's put it that way. Just because the E50M, my theory is that the E50M really only has, armor on the upper plate. Pretty much everywhere else, it's a cakewalk. So if you can shoot him anywhere but the upper plate, you're pretty much going to pen him, just because the turret armor is so weak. The lower plate is extremely weak. The side armor is only 80mm stick, which is the same as the like the 121 or the Object 430. So you have the same side scraping abilities in an E50 as you do in a Russian medium or a Chinese medium. So it's like, is the armor really worth it on the upper plate? The gun, it does perform very well. Now granted, I feel that the E50M is on the same kind of pedestal that the Leopard is once the gun just doesn't want to work, you really don't have anything going for you besides the much larger health pool of 2050, and you have the heavy E50 chassis that you can ram people with, which is an add-in bonus that the Leopard doesn't have, because the Leopard literally is only fast and has its gun. And I feel that another one of the issues with the Leopard is it has such a high dispersion on the move, and I actually went back and checked what the aim time is on the Leopard's gun, and it's 1.89 seconds. But since the dispersion is so great on the Leopard, and even I have vertical stabilizer and smooth ride and snapshot and all that on this tank, but the dispersion is so big that that 1.89 second aiming time is a little bit longer than anticipated, just because the dispersion is so big. Now, when you're in a situation like I was just right there, where you're just peeking out and moving back and forth, like the circle obviously isn't going to get very big, but that's just it's just when you're going like 65 and you come to a complete stop to shoot someone, it's going to take a lot longer than 1.89 seconds to aim, and sometimes that can bite you in the ass. But for the most part, this is one of those maps that the Leopard excels on. I feel like the Leopard is really map specific. I feel that it plays a lot like the E25 in a sense, even though they're two completely different tanks. The E25 has a really, really good camera rating, and it's also really quick and has a good gun, but it has no armor. It sounds exactly like the Leopard. This is just another one. It's so map dependent. Like the E25 and the Leopard are very similar in that aspect. Playing the Leopard on a city map, or playing a Leopard on a map where there's no ridge lines to work, or playing the Leopard on a map where there's no long lines of sight where you can shoot people from a distance. Those are the big issues that the E25 and the Leopard encounter when you are playing with them. Now, you do take kind of a risk playing this tank, just because I feel that like I mentioned earlier, it just really isn't team oriented. The STB is kind of like the same thing. You're relatively quick, you got a good camera rating, and you have a really punchy gun. But the STB on the other hand has some turret armor. It can actually work ridges. The Leopard just doesn't really have much. It's just not. I don't really see why the Leopard is so hyped up. The same thing with the 30B. The AMX 30B is kind of the same deal, but with the AMX 30B you have that issue with the huge cupola. I don't know how many of you guys, or how many of my fellow Xbox players here know about the AMX-30B, but just picture the M48 Patton cupola on top of the Leopard, and then you've got the AMX-30B. I feel like that's in the same boat, but the 30B actually has slightly less dispersion, so you're shooting on the move, and your aim time is a little bit longer than the Leopards, but since you have lower dispersion, it really won't be that much of a difference. The pretty nice game there. It was quite the comeback there. I think at one point we were down at least 4 or 5 tanks, and I just thought I'd show you guys that gameplay just to show that's where the Leopard really excels, is in a situation like that where you can flex around the map and put shots into people that aren't really expecting you to be able to put shots into them, just because you are as flexible. Now, don't get me wrong, the Leopard is not a bad tank by any means. I just feel that A, it's really map dependent, B, you have to be able to rely on your team to not falter and collapse instantly, and C, it's just not as helpful as say like a 62A or something like that. So that's my little spiel on the Leopard. But the second gameplay I have for you guys here is the glorious AMX-50B, and as you can see, I only have 1 mark on it. This was actually the game where I got my 2 marks, and you're gonna see why. This gameplay was at like 5:30 in the morning last night. I don't even know what was going on last night. Supposedly it was supposed to go to some frat party, and then it got canceled because it was raining and shit. So I just kind of did the instinctive thing and just stayed in my dorm and played Xbox all night and ate pizza. So it's college life for you, man. We're living it up out here. But the AMX-50B, you guys know how I feel about the AMX-50B. This is just this tank alone is probably in my top 3 list of favorite tanks in the game. As I've mentioned plenty of times before, because I've had so many AMX-50B gameplays on my channel, I think I can count on 4 or 5 videos specific to the AMX-50B. Hell, I even did a tank review on it. It's got like almost 8,000 views now for some reason. I just want to thank you guys for that. We are actually coming up close to the the 700 subscriber milestone here, and we're getting closer to 1,000. I never really thought, I just want to take this time to thank you guys. I never thought that I would be able to have this much of a fan base this fast. Seeing that I started my channel like 2 months ago. I think like mid to late June, and what is it, the beginning of September now, and it's grown a lot faster than I thought. I felt that attending to this audience would be a lot better for me than doing any other type of video, just because I feel like I really have a passion for playing this game, and I really have a passion for doing stuff like this, and this is why I love doing these videos for you guys, just because it's really fun making the videos, and I enjoy getting feedback, and having people tell me oh, you're doing a great job, and I love getting the messages that you guys send me in game. Most of the time I just reply with a heart because I'm busy or something like that, but I really do appreciate it. I just wanted to thank you guys real quick here. But 50B, it's the 50B. I can't say anything else. I mean, this gameplay for the most part is pretty much fought on this hill. And you saw me trade with that 57 heavy there for 2 shots, and you see this little M4 right next to me. I don't really know what's going on with this guy. I guess he platooned with an AMX Chaffee or something like that, and he got stuck in a tier 10 game. So he just kind of spends his days sitting on that little hill right there staring at people. So that's pretty cool. But the 50B is still waiting on that buff. Wargaming, please watch this video. Please tend to my prayers. I'm really antsy for the 50B aim time buff, just because it's been a long time coming, and I feel that it's please Wargaming, it has to come. But the 50B on Himmelsdorf, this is probably one of the better maps for the 50B, just because there's a lot of good like sniping spots like I'm in right now. Had I been reloaded, that Tiger 2 would have been dead in 7.5 seconds. But it's just the 50B loves city maps, not as much as the 57 heavy, but the 50B does love its city maps. And you're gonna see here, this was just a huge bloodbath up here, and I feel that the secret to becoming good with the AMX 50B is just having patience. I see a lot of autoloader drivers just kind of like drive out there, dump their mag, and die. As I've mentioned a lot of times before, like I've mentioned this numerous times. but you know, it's still one of those prevalent things, and I don't understand why, you know, people feel the need to just kind of drive out there and dump their magazine and think they're gonna get out of it all right. You know, it's just you know, you got to play smart with an autoloader, and you know, it's just one of the secrets to playing or being good with an autoloader is just having patience. I know some people just kind of get antsy. You know, they got a full clip. They're like, oh man, I'm about to dump my magazine into this guy. And as you can see here, me and my platoon mate Scriptix here, you know, some perfect teamwork. He said he'll track him while I dump my magazine into his corner, the lower plate there. And you know, the E3, I feel that it's gotten a lot easier to deal with over time. You know, it's been a while since I did one of those weak spot videos, and I'm probably going to try to do one of those really soon here, just because just recently in the last patch they made it so you can only have 2 people in a training room and you can actually play. So expect to see another one of those in the near future. You know, I'm sorry I haven't been able to do like the super specific videos like I have in the past. Like I haven't done any tank reviews in a while, but those are coming. I actually will be doing one very soon. So don't get too mad at me. I might actually, I think I might actually redo my U100 review, just because I feel like the first go around was really rough, and I feel that it needs to be given the proper love that it needs, because the E100 is just one of those staples in this game that I feel that the E100, if played correctly, is probably one of the best tier 10s in the game on a map that it is good on, such as this map. You know, it can't perform on larger maps like proc and stuff like that, but you're literally all relying on RNG, so it's just kind of rough. But yeah, so as you can see on the team list here, I've got 13 penny shots. Yeah, 13 penny shots, and you're gonna see here we're going for the cleanup here, and you know, we've only got 4 tanks left, and you know, most of their tanks are still alive, and you know, we're coming in here. We're coming in here, boy. We're coming in here. You know, guns blazing. Oh, baby, a triple. Yo, we get the triple.
Baby, a triple.
But we look at the timer here, and we're like, all right, so which one of us is going to go reset? And I immediately raise my hand, and we start going. We're going Sonic mode here. We're going fast. You know, we got to go fast. So, you know, this is another reason why I feel that the 50B is just so good. Had I been in any other tank in this entire game, any other tank, maybe the Batchat, that maybe would have worked, but man, dude, just look how fast I'm going, man. Just the 50B is so fast, and you know, this at the time I didn't know. I still don't know if I'm gonna make it. You know, it's just one of those. It was just this was one of those heart racing moments where it was just like, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. Will he make it? You know, as you guys can probably hear in the game chat, you can hear this guy yelling at me, you know, to go reset and stuff. And you know, I make it here just in the nick of time, and you know, oh man, that was a rough shot. But we do get the reset, and we do clean up the kill here, ladies and gentlemen, and we are going to clean up this patent as well here in a second here, yeah. And then we, you know, man, dude, just that is the, ladies and gentlemen, that is the power of the 50B right there. The AMX 50B, that is the power of the AMX 50B. And as you saw, the 430 is still on the flag, and he gets off. So I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, all right, he's probably going to come from the right. So I was preparing for this, and I was going to be loaded by the time he popped around the corner, and I got really unlucky here. Oh, and he missed, and I knew at that moment, I was like, wow, that was extremely lucky. Actually, you know, looking back at that, I probably don't think it was that lucky, just because I shot his tracks and he like spun around after I shot his tracks, so that's probably why his shot missed. But as you can see here, absolutely fantastic game here. You know, we're coming clutch, we're going clutch, baby, and 7,500 damage, and that was actually the game where I got my second mark, which you know, I'm still grinding the 113, the E100, and the 50B 3 marks, so I'm going to be doing those in the near future. But, you know, I just wanted to take this time to thank you guys so much for all the support and stuff, and all the, you know, the good lucks in college and stuff, and I really do appreciate it, guys. And, you know, that's pretty much it for this video, but I will talk to you guys later. This has been Achilles.